everyone, welcome back, or welcome if you're new. My name is Kira, and today I thought we would do a cozy, almost spring reading vlog. So as you can see, we have a little bit of a different setting this week. I decided to move it outside. In our area, we're having a little bit of a heat wave, or kind of a heat wave. It's supposed to be in the 70s, which is definitely t-shirt weather for me, especially with what we've had in the last couple of months. So I broke out my dresses, I'm outside, our forsythias started to bloom, so that means spring is right around the corner. I will try to be doing a lot more outside, hopefully, throughout the spring and summer. I just like to have a little bit of a different setting. So this week I decided to do a reading vlog. There's probably quite a few vlogs coming up. We are traveling in April, so I'll probably do a reading vlog then, and you know, kind of investigating local bookstores and just travel. But I will be bringing my Kindle along, and so that should be fun. I haven't talked about it, but we have been thinking about moving houses lately, so that has become a bit more of a reality lately. I'm pivoting this week, and in this last week I've been a little bit hyper-focused on it, to getting the house ready just in case we might have an opportunity to move soon. So I will be doing a lot of projects around the house. So because of that, I'm switching up my reading a little bit. Kind of spoken on it in the past, but I do listen to audiobooks. Primarily, I love to read a physical book, and then next ebooks, and then audiobooks. But as I'm doing painting projects and decluttering and kind of just trying to get the house ready to sell if we do have the opportunity, I really need my hands, obviously. So I've been kind of doing a mix. I have been finding the audiobook through my Libby and then moving to the physical book when at the end of the night, or when I'm eating lunch, or just in the morning when I'm drinking coffee, just to keep me moving. I read faster than I listen, but it has been a really great way to get the books read, but I'm able to listen to my kids and play with them and do all the things. So I'm doing that this week, but my local library doesn't always have the selection that I want, or there's a long wait time. So I have recently been looking into some other non-resident library cards, just because there's no other ones in my state that I can get into. If you don't know, with Libby, it's connected to your library, so it's like checking out a book, but it's just an ebook or an audiobook. And sometimes if you live in a state, you can get into multiple different, they're almost like groupings of libraries, so you get more options, but mine doesn't have that. So I've been looking into some non-resident library cards in other states. They used to be free where you could join them, but it's not really fair to, you know, local people that are paying taxes for that. So now most places charge a fee for it. So I have been researching the ones that would work for me, and I did settle on the New Orleans library, and so I got signed up for that this week, and it's just $50 a year, which if you compare that to like an Audible subscription, it's quite less over time. And so I got into that, and I was able to get a lot of the books that I want to read on audio, because I have them in physical form for the most part. So I'm trying to do that where I have the audio and the physical book, and I can just go through them and read. And it's making me read like a book in a day or 2 days, which it would work for me if I was purely just like reading them. That's about the time it would take, but I'm really enjoying it. And so that's kind of my strategy for this week. I'll tell you what I'm reading next and what I'm planning on baking, but I'm going to be doing that. But since it's also such a nice week out and things are starting to bloom, there's buds on the trees, I'm going to be taking my kids out. Obviously my priority is doing the kids stuff during the day, and when they're like resting and having downtime, I'll be working on some house projects. But in the mornings especially, there's a lot of creeks and trails around here, so I think we're gonna go probably get really wet. So I will take you along with me. There's some really beautiful areas. When it's all nice and blooming, this area is just absolutely gorgeous. I am excited to get back into spring and summer and being outside. And as for the books that I'm reading, I am currently about 64 pages in the middle of The Murder at the Blueberry Festival by Darcy Hannah. So this month I have read the first 2 books in the series. The second book was a reread for me, and it was at Christmas, but it was fine. It actually snowed like last week, so it's just a very odd weather we're having. And I've been reading this, but I also just got it on audio, so I'll just be doing a mix. but it's absolutely perfect, the summer vibes. It follows our main character, Lindsay Bakewell, who used to be kind of big in the corporate world, and she gets cheated on, and she just decides on a kind of a drunken whim to go and buy a lighthouse in this little town called Beacon Harbor and make it into a bake shop. And it's so fun. I absolutely love the setting, just the fact that it's in a lighthouse. I will go into more of a detail when I review the first 2 books, but they were really wonderful, just seeing how she sets it up and the community. But this one is about a blueberry festival, which is why I'm wearing blue. It's perfect for spring, although it is very good for summer. I'm loving it so far, and she's already talked about a recipe, which is what I'm gonna make, and it's the blueberry lemon bread, but she's done blueberry muffins and this blueberry buckle, so I have a feeling there's a lot of blueberry treats in my future, so I will be doing that in this video. I already got the stuff for it just because it sounded so yummy. Yeah, I really love this. I love all the side characters. Her friend Kennedy Kapoor is wonderful. She has a dog named Wellington, and he's on every cover. And yeah, I just absolutely adore the series so far, and I think there's only 6, so I'm kind of getting towards the middle of it, so I hope that she writes more because I'm really loving it. And the second book that I'm planning on reading is Death in the Dark Woods by Annalise Ryan. This one is not really a cozy mystery. I would say it's more of a mystery thriller type book. I don't really know. She's written cozy mysteries before, and I'm interested in her other series, but it is, I feel like, more going to be like a fall series. I've seen a lot of the books that she has on it, and they seem like they would be perfect for fall, so I'm probably going to wait until around then. But the first book, I would say I will review it again in depth in my March reading wrap-up, but it is Scooby-Doo for adults, and I'm in part of a reading challenge in one of my Facebook groups, and I posted that it was Scooby-Doo for adults, and I really loved it, and 6 or 7 people almost immediately went out and got it from their libraries, so that was cool. But it's really different and unique, and again, it has very much like Scooby-Doo vibes. Main character Morgan, she owns this shop called Odds and Ends. It's like a curiosity shop where she has a lot of really weird things, but her family was cryptid hunters, like cryptozoologists, and she is one, but she says she's a skeptic. And she gets hired by local law enforcement to investigate what looks like a Loch Ness monster in the first book. It's called A Death in Door County, and I loved it. It was, you know, like a monster, but is it a monster or is it something else? I absolutely loved it. The whole history of the region with all the shipwrecks and the storms and the mystery of it. It's, again, it's an adult Scooby-Doo, so it is a little bit darker in some areas, and there's some descriptions of things that happened in her past that are a little bit, you know, darker. And so I am going to be reading Death in the Dark Woods. I've already started that one. That one is about Bigfoot. Or what might be Bigfoot, I don't know. We're going to see, but so far I really love it. I know a lot of people have started on the second book, and you can. There's just like a little bit of spoilers in terms of like relationships status so far. I'm about, like, I don't know, 20% in, so I'm really loving that. I have that one through my library. I don't have the physical copies of any of them, so I am doing a mix of audiobook and also reading on my Kindle when I have more time. But I'm probably going to be reading the third one as well, and that's Beast of the North Woods, I believe, because I just know I'm going to love it. I'm loving it so far. It's going to be a series that I'm going to get all of them. Hopefully she continues to make more. I don't know if there's a fourth one coming out, but I think the one I'm reading now came out in 2023, so we will see. I also am thinking this week I will probably get done with the Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. I only have this one in physical form, so I will probably try towards the end of the week, maybe take a bit of a break with all the house projects. But this was on my spring TBR video. If you haven't seen that yet, I have a whole list of books that are very spring, and I've heard this one's really wonderful. It's part of a series, and it's about the Wisteria Society that has all of these like lady thieves. I am definitely curious to see how it goes, and I think I will be able to get all of these done this week. So yeah, that's all the books that I'm planning on reading. So for now, I think I'm just going to do a little bit of reading outside since it's so nice and I have a little bit of time to just relax. My boys are at a play school that they have, and I'm just gonna read a little, but then I need to run some errands, and then I'll get to probably baking this afternoon. That blueberry lemon cake should keep me going during my during all of my projects this week. So grab a coffee, a tea, or a treat, and let's get started. Alright, so it's day 2, and I was able to finish Murder at the Blueberry Festival yesterday. So I think I left off when I was reading outside at around, I think I ended at like page 102, so I was at chapter 16. And that was about where the murder actually happened. I will say about Darcy Hannah books is that the murder happens around 30 to 40% in the book, which for a lot of cozy mysteries does that's not what happens. It happens a lot later in the book, a lot earlier in the book, I mean. So that was something to get used to, but in all the rest of the books, there's reasons for that. The first one, she was setting up her bake shop, which was really fun. The second one, there was a Christmas cookie like competition, and that was really fun to hear about. This one is about the festival, and I really love it just because it's like a reminder of summer and all the things that we're going to do in spring and summer. So I've been really enjoying it, and in this one there's a ton of pranks that happen during all of the events for the festival. Hi Bella. Bella, say hi. You gonna sit? Okay. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this book, just all of the descriptions of the food, obviously. I cooked that blueberry lemon bread and it was super yummy, so I think I'll be trying a couple more. Her first book, The Murder at the Beacon Bake Shop, has this hog heaven donut, and I've never tried to make donuts before, so I'm going to try that eventually, probably not this week. How it turned out was very different, and I thought it was really well done, and she touches on some really great things with Rory, her boyfriend in this, who's a veteran. So I really thoroughly enjoyed this book. I don't want to give any spoilers, but I love when she has Kennedy in there. Her staff is really wonderful, and they all kind of help her out with her investigations, but they're also just like a little family. I just love cozy mysteries just because of the community, and this is just absolutely perfect for spring and summer, so I highly recommend this book in particular. As I've said before, you can kind of read them out of order. They don't really give away what happens in the last book. It's just kind of the relationships that develop over time, so you'll learn a bit more about it. The next one in the series is Murder at the Pumpkin Pageant, I think, and so I don't know. I don't want to wait to read the rest of her books. So I probably will read that eventually. I just don't have it, and in case we're moving, I am trying to curb buying any books. I've talked about trying to read my books, so I'm just using the library a lot. I have this like mental block where I just want new books that aren't on my shelves. So Libby has been my go-to for that. So after I finished that was last night. I did this morning. I've been up for a while. I've been just doing projects and sitting with the boys. I got more into Death in the Dark Woods. I am listening to that on audio, and then I did get it on ebook. So I should probably finish that today. I have a lot of painting, and I've been working on a garage clean out. So I have a lot of like things to take to the dump and just all of this stuff. Oh, pretty.
I picked them out of the backyard.
I see. We're gonna go to the park soon. Thank you. They're so pretty. Oh. Sorry, break. My son brought me little flowers. Our flowers have started blooming here. Hopefully they stay. I just saw this morning that there's like a bit of a cold snap next week, and we might actually get snow one day, which is insane because we were in shorts, and today we are going to go play in a river. So we have water socks on, and we're ready to go. I'll take you along with me. I'm going to be reading Death in the Dark Woods. I am loving it so far. The first book had a little bit more of her relationship and, you know, the backstory, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't too much in a mystery book. I don't always like it, but the second one, while there is elements to it and I love the development, just taking it slow and being realistic, it's definitely not as much as the first one, and it's more about the investigation, and I just love the setting. They're in Wisconsin, and they're looking for some Bigfoot sightings, and she's just very methodical about it, and I really love that approach. But there's history of the area, and it's obvious that the author really loves the area. I think she's actually lives in the whole Great Lakes region, so she's just really embraced it and is just using a lot of her expertise for it, and it really makes it more authentic and wonderful. And she just sells going to the Great Lakes, and so it's like somewhat becoming an interest to visit one day. So I am really loving that. I will be reading that, going on walks, and doing some projects, so we'll take you along with me today for that. You're so wet. Is it cold? Oh. Alright, so it's day 3 and I finished Death in the Dark Woods last night. I finally got some sleep, so I woke up pretty early this morning and started a different one, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But I think sitting on it a little bit, I'm going to do like a 4 stars. I think it was a really fun book and I thought it was pretty strong. I did like A Death in Door County a little bit more. I thought the setting of basically being on the water and the investigation happening in the Great Lakes was really interesting and different. And I really loved both of these. They include the history of areas and all these legends of these cryptids. In Death in the Dark Woods, it was more related to Bigfoot. So I thought that was actually fun. One of my favorite horror novels is Devolution by Max Brooks, and it's about Sasquatch basically. And I thought it was really entertaining and fun. And this one had a little less of the romance that was in the first book, which I didn't mind actually. I don't mind some romance and mystery books, but really I don't like too much romance just because I want it to be about the mystery. And I would say this series is definitely more mystery than it is like a cozy mystery. And again, it's like Scooby-Doo for adults. And I really liked the ending. I saw some things coming, but the rest of it, no, it was definitely different, and I thought it was really well done. I love that the author, Annalise Ryan, does these author's notes at the end where she talks about this was actually like real history and it's very unique, and this is the only part that I kind of changed and took a little bit creative liberty with. But there were elements which more leads into the third book. So I started Beast of the North Woods this morning since I got up pretty early, and I've actually gotten about 46% of the way through the book. So it's not like a hard read, and I was reading it on my Kindle, but I think I'm going to actually like soft DNF it. I definitely still really like the series, but she got really frustrating, and there were certain elements in the second book I'm like, why did you do that? I've watched a lot of like spooky things, and you'll be watching it and you're like, why are you doing that? Why are you going in there? That's not smart at all. And she just did something like going into the woods where she knew somebody was murdered, and you know, like she gets herself into these situations sometimes by being completely reckless. And it was okay in like the first and second books because it was relatively minor, and I think it really furthered the story. But I was so incredibly frustrated during this third book. And there's a storyline of something that happened in the past with her family, and I kind of want that to be done, honestly. And the third book is definitely heavier than the first two, and I'm just not in the space to read it. It's about her backstory and what happened to her parents, and she's kind of got like a stalker now. Right now, as I've said, I'm in the middle of prepping my house, and so I'm just kind of stressed out. And so anything that's like super heavy and dark right now is just not what I want to read about. I don't know if super heavy is the right word, but it is, you know, a lot more, and she's just being so incredibly frustrating that I'm gonna have to take a break. I for sure really like this series and I'm planning on continuing it, but this third book, I didn't know, came out at the end of January, so it's at least another year before like the next one comes out. I think she's announced that it's gonna be another year. So I think I'm just going to wait on that a little bit. Maybe in the fall. I think it's a really good fall, almost winter book to read. Hi, Bella. So I started Murder at the Pumpkin Pageant. I got it through the NOLA library, and so I'm reading that pretty fast. I'm already about 4% in, which is fine. I guess that's not like super fast, but I should be able to finish it not too long. So as for today, I think I'm gonna take it a little bit easier and just do some like minor inside projects. And I also really need to think about my April TBR setup. So I am going to be working on that and maybe doing some art. I don't know. I think I have gone like 0 to 100 for the last few days, and working outside, I kind of forgot my allergy pill. So I'm having some issues today, so I might take it a little bit easier since tomorrow I have to do a very big like dump run with all of the like tree branches and stuff that I got yesterday. We'll just take you along. I'm doing a mix of audio and Kindle since I have these on my Kindle, and then also the physical book Strawberry Lane if I start it. So it is the next day. My camera died last night in the middle of filming, and I realized that I ran out of all of my batteries. They were all dead, so I had to put a pause on that, but it worked out. I went up to my room and I read for a little bit longer. As soon as I sat down and I opened up my Kindle, some of these other books that I had saved to my Kindle recently popped up, and I kind of pivoted. My mind just took an immediate shift. So I ended up picking A Very Woodsy Murder by Ellen Byron, and it's a pretty short book. It's only like 250 pages, so I'm already, I read for a little bit and I got to around like 30% in. So I read a little bit more this morning. My husband's home, I've been getting my boys out, and I've just been filming a little bit today for April. But I did read a lot of that. It is a cozy mystery, but it's a little bit different. It takes place in a motel in the woods. And I had seen it when I was looking at, like, you look on Amazon and Goodreads and other places, when you look at a book, they have like books other readers liked. And this one was on actually a death in Door County. It's different. Death in Door County is, as I said, it's Scooby-Doo for adults, but it is a mystery. It's not cozy mystery by any means. It's just a different genre. So this one is more cozy mystery. It follows a sitcom writer, or like kind of a burnt out sitcom writer, and her ex-husband, who open up a motel in the middle of nowhere, basically near a national park. And it's very like vintage, like 50s, mid-century modern, and they're a bit of a hot mess, but they're trying to figure out, and then someone gets killed there. I'm enjoying it. I think it's kind of getting straight to the point, as opposed to some of my other mysteries that I've been reading. It takes a while to get to the murder. This one is moving at a good pace. I would kind of like to see them set up the hotel a little bit more, just because I'm a DIYer, so I enjoy that aspect. But so far, I think it's fun. I think it's very different. It seems a little bit more like fall than spring, but I think I will read it. It's a good book to read when you're just sitting down, and my mind is kind of all over the place with all the projects that I'm doing right now. I just have a lot on my mind, so reading these books, it doesn't take like a lot of my brain power like a fantasy book would, or like a sci-fi book or anything like that. It's just a little bit more complicated. So I am enjoying it. It's on Kindle Unlimited, which I have been trying out a little bit lately, just to see, just because some of the indie authors that I like. I'm trying not to buy books right now since we're moving, but if I enjoy these books, I'll add them to my collection because I'm sure I'll reread them. But there's 2 books in the series now, so I'm hoping I like it and I can continue on, but 30% in and I like them. As for Murder at the Pumpkin Pageant, I am about 40% of the way in now. It's getting interesting. I think it would be really great for, it's obviously a fall read, and I think it would be really great for that season. I am enjoying the change. There's some ghost hunters that came to her lighthouse for Captain Willie Riggs, and some creepy things are happening. Lindsay is a little bit unsettled, which is different than her character. She's always trying to figure things out, but she's not unsettled in her place. So I think it's fun to see more of the town and what's going on. There's like some mysterious treasure going on. I think it's going to be different than the other books that she's written in the series, so I'm intrigued. But it only kind of got that way until about, I'd say till right now. It's kind of taken a little bit of turn and gotten a lot more interesting to me. The beginning of it, there was a pumpkin pageant, but it's not like the Blueberry Festival or the Christmas Cookie Bake Off where you see a lot of the town and you can really like experience it. So yeah, I like it now. It's just a bit of a change from her other books, which can get a little bit repetitive sometimes, so I'm enjoying it. So as for the rest of the day, we are not in the 70s anymore. I'm actually quite cold in my outfit right now, but there's supposed to be some storms coming in. We went from 70s to we might get snow today. It's insane. There was 74 yesterday, snow today. I don't understand the weather here. So my husband is currently out with my boys, giving me a little bit of time to film when it's quiet. So I think I'm just going to eat something without someone trying to steal it from my plate, and then read a little, and then we'll just get to other stuff. I'm gonna change too, so. Alright, so it's later in the day. I've been working today, and then we kind of took a break in the afternoon and went on some errands and just did some fun family things. Sorry, I'm exhausted. But I did finish Murder at the Pumpkin Pageant. I will give a more detailed review in the morning. My boys are just getting to sleep. I had to do like the ninja roll out of bed with my youngest because he thought there was like ghosts or something, so I laid with him until he fell asleep. So I think I'm going to read the Very Woodsy Murder for a while. I am 30% of the way through the book, so I'm hoping to finish this book before the end of the vlog. I think tomorrow I will do the last day in the vlog and kind of close it up, just because I have some other videos that I'm working on, and I'm doing my, you know, like all the projects around the house, and I think I'm going to be doing like an Easter vlog soon, so I'm going to be starting that one. But yeah, I will let you know what I thought about the Murder at the Pumpkin Pageant in the morning, after I kind of like sleep on it a little bit and get my thoughts in order, and then hopefully I'm finished with this one. I'm pretty tired, but I might get up in the morning and finish it. Just so I can like finish that one before the end of the vlog. Alright, so I thought I'd do a quick outro. It's been a couple of days since I actually finished those books. My kids got a stomach bug, and so I've just been dealing with that and trying to catch up on a little sleep. It looks like we've dodged it, so fingers crossed that stays. But we are still working on projects. It looks like the move is getting a little bit closer, so I have quite a lot to do. So I just wanted to finish this today and get this out so you can all enjoy it before I do my March reading wrap up. I'm going to be a little late on the March wrap up, but that's okay. So as for Murder at the Pumpkin Pageant, I really enjoyed that one. It was very different and it had a little bit more of a supernatural element. She owns a lighthouse that's supposed to be a bit haunted. They have the ghost lights, and it's just a minor plot, but I actually really enjoy it. I like to hear the history, and this one had a little bit more of it than the past, and there's like ghost hunters. I really wish there was a little bit more like fall elements. The other books did really great about like making it very seasonal, in my opinion, between the Blueberry Festival or the Christmas Cookie Bake Off. I think this one could have had a little bit more of it, but I loved the turn it took, and Lindsay and Kennedy were doing a lot this book. I like this series just because it's not just her, that it's like a really big team effort between Rory, Kennedy, her mom, even Betty. You get her POV all the time, but it is a huge team effort in order to solve these things. So I really enjoy that part. The other books that I read, it's almost just like really singular. But overall, I think it was a really strong book. I did like it. So I'd probably give it like a 4 stars. I just wish there was a little bit more to it. As for A Very Woodsy Murder by Ellen Byron, I did like that book. I really wish there had been more to it. It was really short. I think it was under 300 pages. And so it was a little bit harder to connect with the characters. I really wish we had seen more of the setup. They kind of just buy it and then they're about to open. So I think it would have been a little bit more realistic and we'd have gotten to know the characters a little bit better if there was more lead into it. As for the actual investigation, I thought it was fun. I like to see the towns. It's like a gold mining area near a national forest, so they're just playing up on that. And one of the towns actually dresses up, like every single person dresses up like the 1800s. And so I thought that was really interesting, and I liked to see that aspect. But it was a little bit unrealistic in some areas because some things happened to the main character and the side characters, and they just bounce back really quickly. I feel like if you got attacked like that, there would be a little bit more, like you'd be a little bit messed up with it. Maybe that's just me, but I did think that was a little bit unrealistic, and I think it was just because of the length of the book. So I think it could have done with being longer, but the main parts of the book I really enjoyed. I sort of saw the ending coming, but the author did a really good job of kind of changing those things. Again, it was just too short. So I would say like 3.5 stars. There is 2 books in the series, but the second book hasn't come out yet. So I might read it when it comes out, but it's not like a major priority for me. It was a fun, cozy mystery though, and it was a little bit of a different setting. The other ones that I've read are like on a farm, in a bake shop, in like this little town. And this is very different just because it's in a motel, like really out in the middle of nowhere near these gold mining towns. And I liked the whole woods aspect. I just think that it could have been played up a lot more. The thing about cozy mysteries is that they're kind of like themed. And so I think she had a little bit of a missed opportunity with that. Otherwise though, I think it was, you know, like an okay read, and it went pretty quickly. So, but those are all the books that I read this week. Overall, I had a really strong reading week. I think I have gotten into my groove. I think I closed out the month of March with like 14 books. So I'm gonna go over them in my March reading wrap up. But this week was a really solid, I think I read 4 total, and they were all between 4 and 5 stars besides the last one. So I just had a lot of fun. I know it wasn't as like crafty and creative as usual, but that's just what's happening right now with this upcoming move. So I just have to be a little bit more strategic in what I'm doing. It looks like the move is a lot more of a reality in the last couple of days. So that might be where I'm just reading and doing packing things. So I don't know if people are interested in seeing that, but that's pretty much what it's gonna be later on. So if you're still here, thank you for sticking around. Willow appreciates it too. I hope you all have a really wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye.